I get it done, I have fun. It's my time and I'm the one. I'm breaking through.
Hello and welcome. What happens when a life refuses to stay small? I'm going to say it one more time. What happens when a life refuses to stay small? Well, you're going to find out today in the few minutes we have with our wonderful guest, who's an author of 4 books. We're going to talk a little bit about the most recent one. We're going to talk about her journey as well. But before we do that, thanks for being here. If you're watching us live today, thanks. If you're watching us on replay, remember #replay. Let us know where you're watching in from. And if you have any questions, comments, feedback for us at any time, happy to get it. That's how the show gets better. And we get to address some of your questions and concerns. What's the other things we want you to do? Subscribe. Yes, that would be nice. And share and like. That would be fantastic because it helps get the message out. I've heard over the years that I've been doing this 400 plus episodes, some feedback from people I didn't even know were watching us and what they were getting out of it from the wonderful individuals that come on here and share their journey, which is what we're going to have Jacqueline do with us today. And we're going to talk a little bit about her book. And it's, I'll give it a quick plug. There it is. It's really good. Hopefully it reads properly. But if it's not, it's just fear intelligence. So let's get on with the show. So if you've ever wondered what it really takes to rewrite your life story, you're on the right episode. Because today's conversation is for you. Most people know Edinburgh's neighborhood of Leith as the vibrant coastal place it is today. But my guest remembers a very different Leith, one that quietly told her she would never amount to much. At 16, she ran into first to London and across the oceans of California, Paris, Amsterdam, New York, and then Bali. Each city another brave step toward the woman she knew she could be. Today, Jacqueline Wales is joining us as an international author, a TEDx speaker, and a trusted advisor to accomplished leaders around the world for more than 18 years. She has helped academics, entrepreneurs, scientists, and senior executives increase their self-awareness, their confidence, and their capacity to lead meaningful lives. She's the author of Fearless Factor, showed Fearless Factor at Work, When the Crow Sings, and the one today, her newest book, Fear Intelligent. But Jacqueline's most powerful lesson is being fearless is not about eliminating fear. It is about choosing your next step. And even when your knees are shaking and in true Kismet fashion, something impossible may happen. During this conversation, you might feel a subtle shift as if your future self leans over your shoulder and whispers, the next step is yours. So take a breath, settle in, and join me here on the Business Renovator, and let's have a conversation with Jacqueline. I'm going to bring her up right now. Jacqueline, welcome to the show.
Well, it's great to be here, Phil, and thanks for that great introduction.
It's easy when you have quality people who've had a life that are willing to share it. It makes my job a lot easier. So I appreciate you for being here. And I know it's a bit earlier for you than it is to me. And I would like to publicly announce we're all happy for your recent birthday. So belated birthday wishes to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm going to ask a simple question, one I know you have the answer to. What's the best thing that's happened to you over the last, day or two?
The last day or two. Let's think about that for a second. I got out of bed and felt good.
Sure, that's a good one. That's all that matters. That's how simple it can be. In the green room, I showed you something and we had a really good conversation about it. And just recently, I was recognized by a group of peers as being a contributor to the community. And I'm grateful to have received that unknown award at the event yesterday, even though it was virtual. People are from all over the world. And there was a bunch of winners in the room. Whether they got an award or not, there was a bunch of winners in the room.
Everybody's a winner, in my opinion. Only if you show up to being a winner.
Showing up is part of the battle, right?
Yeah, very definitely.
So with the magic of TV, look at that. I put you on the other side. Isn't that cool?
I get to look at you here instead of over there.
Right. There's a trick for that, so that I'm looking at you on the screen instead of off to the right. So I wanted to let you know that I do care that you're here. I know that you took I have a copy of the book. You didn't send it to me and you didn't sign it. I bought it.
Well, I appreciate that.
There's a lot of stuff in here. Good stuff. I mean, I could say shite. There's a lot of good shite in here.
yes,
And there's some shite for me to do. There's some work, weekly activities. There's case studies. And we're not going to talk a lot. The book is important, and people, damn it, get the book. If you like what Jacqueline's about, and if you're challenged with things like fear, and you have another way of saying the acronym for fear, and it is, I don't know if we want to share it now or at the end when we share some of your.
Well, we can share it now because it's very much a part of the framework of what fear intelligence is all about.
Okay.
So let's start with fear. Most people think of the word or the acronym for fear as false expectations appearing real. Yeah, somewhat true. It's about the stories we tell ourselves, but here's mine. Number one is face it. Face the fears. Be aware of what you're feeling. Think about the stories that you're telling yourself that create the fear in the first place. So facing the fear becomes number one. Number two is explore it. Explore those stories. What are the parts of origin of these stories? Where are these stories coming from? And do you truly believe them? Because if you don't have any empirical evidence for your fear, you're just making stuff up. Then if we go into the next part, which is to act, the act part is I'm willing to change the narrative. I'm willing to really investigate and create a different approach to how I am confronting my fears and really analyzing them to get some results. And the last part is rise. Rise to meet the challenge. Have the courage to be uncomfortable and make a different movement, different step, different thought pattern, behavior, whatever the case may be. That's the rise part. So you've got to face it, explore it, act on it, and rise with it. And that's really fear, in my opinion.
So something I didn't know about you. I mean, we've only known each other for a couple of years. We've gotten to kind of like each other where we're going. We have some synergy in many things. Is where you started out, and I don't know if you want to talk about it, but you at a young age, as a young girl, were facing fear face on, and you were told by people that you wouldn't amount to know anything. We already kind of talked about that in the introduction, which I can say I had the same thing when I was in high school. I had teachers telling me I wouldn't amount to much, and I'm just taking up space. The people that we listen to and give sanction to, be careful, because I think that's where some of the fear-related things come from. Do you want to speak on that a little bit?
Yeah, I do, because that's what I mean by the fear origin stories. You know, a lot of our fears, we come into the world innocent, put it that way. We come into the world innocent. And then what happens is we start acquiring other people's thoughts, other people's behaviors, other people's reactions, other ways of thinking about how the world is supposed to operate. And when you are diminished by the person that's supposed to be taking care of you, who's supposed to care for you, then that becomes, and it can be any authority figure. It doesn't have to be your parents. It can be a teacher. It can be a boss. It can be whoever. But the point being is, if you allow others to diminish you, and before you've had the cognition that they are actually doing that, that becomes lifelong habits for you. And so how do we think of ourselves? Now, I used to think of myself as fairly useless. And of course, my behavior mirrored that point of view, because there was a lot of drugs and alcohol involved in my early life. And that was also a part of the FU attitude that I developed as a part of the resistance to the authority figures. But fear starts early in life. And that's really the place where we need to look at, as I said, the origin stories. And we've all got origin stories. I don't care who you are and how happy your childhood is. I ask in a room of CEOs, how many of you had happy childhoods? And then put up their hands and I go, yeah. And how many times did you doubt yourself during your happy childhood? You know, hands go up again. That's kind of it.
Yeah, that's it in a nutshell. And the reason I'm excited that you're on here again, You're not a first time TBR-er. I just coined that today. TBR-er. I like that. This is your second go around, so I thank you for being fearless and showing up for a second time. But why I'm excited that you're here is because you didn't just write a book academically. You've walked the journey. You're walking, you're talking your walk, you're walking your talk, however that goes. And that's what I love most about what you're all about. And then you happen to put it into a program where you get to share some insights and help people wherever they're at in their stage of life, no matter what gender or faith, where they come from, it doesn't matter, because you serve everybody. Well, and that came out of your journey, right?
Well, we all put our pants on the same way. So, that's kind of how I look at life. I'm a Scot, the Scots are very practical, pragmatic people. We don't mess about. We call it what it is and we get on with it. Life is good, life is bad. It's all the same. You just get on with it. And that's kind of how I've rolled with my life.
Because we have habits, and habits are good and habits are bad. If they're serving us, they're good habits. And if they're holding us back into our fear-based thinking, then they're not so good, I think. Would that be accurate?
100%. I mean, we all have habits that are negative. We all have ways in which we undermine ourselves, the ways in which we diminish ourselves. I mean, you started the program by saying, people think small, act small. I certainly did. People would look at me and go, you have such a big personality. Why are you behaving so small? And I would be like, no, I'm really doing it. I'm trying very hard. I mean, there's this famous story of me standing in a conference room with about 250 people. And the guy leans over his lecture after I kind of put up my hand bravely and decided to tell the world that I was playing small. And he leaned over the lectern and he said, and so why does this matter to you to keep playing small?
Ooh, good question. Why does this matter to you to keep playing small? Ouch. I think you just addressed that to me. Thank you very much. I'll have to ruminate on that.
Yeah. And that's true for all of us. Here's the thing. People spend their life looking for answers. What I like to say is you need to ask better questions. It's the questions that unlock the answers that you already know deep inside of you. What is the truth that matters to you?
This is crazy, Jacqueline. Last night I was creating some posts, and the post that I was probably inspired and influenced by studying your work the last couple of weeks. Somebody said something I like to quote. I put it into a social media, actually LinkedIn, and I think I put it on Facebook. But in addition to all of that, some of the things you're talking about are in that little. Well, so there's an image, and then there's some text. So if you want to find out what it is, follow me on LinkedIn and or Facebook, because it's worth the follow. It talks about this thing. And I borrowed a quote from this guy by the name of Albert Einstein. And it was something around the idea that and you used to ask better questions. He says, the things you're asking yourself today won't solve the problem. I've got the quote messed up. Do you remember what it is? I don't have it.
It's about, the problems that you see today will not be the solutions for the problems of tomorrow. I mean, that's really the essence of what he said.
Yeah.
The thinking that is impacting, it was to do with the thinking, and it had to do with thinking that you're creating today will not be the solutions for tomorrow. And that's very true. And here's the thing about fear. We spend so much time in the future, in the catastrophizing of the future, in the what ifs if things go sideways, the what if I don't get what I want, well, what if I go broke, the what if my relationship doesn't work out, you name it, there it is. It's all out there. But instead we forget that in this present moment is our moment of choice. And this moment of choice that we have in this moment, this present time, is the one that influences where we're going for tomorrow. And I have a mantra I say to myself every day, and it's this: for today, I have everything I need, and I'm taking action for tomorrow. Because then I don't have to worry about what the future looks like, because frankly, none of us know. I mean, your idea of the future and the universe's idea of the future are generally two different things. So
but when they align.
And when they align, there's always a big surprise. It's like, holy shit, that really worked. But, at the same time, I know I've spent many, many years. I write out my intentions for the end of the year. And I go, okay, next year we're going to make way more money and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And then you get to the end of the year and you go, you didn't even get half of what you were looking for. In fact, you may not even got a quarter of what you were looking for. And why? Because your thinking and your behavior didn't allow that to succeed.
My brain's racing with some ideas that you're, Jack. And one of the things I like about hosting the show is the things that I'm reminded about, or the things I learned I never knew, or see it from a different point of view. So I'm going to hog the mic just for a minute. What we're talking about right now, to me, sounds like comfort zone, creative self, the creative subconscious mind, and it reminded me of Science of Getting Rich and another 40% moment. What does all this have to do with what we're talking about? It has everything. It's how we perceive things. Jesse Itzler, who's the husband to Sarah Blakely, both very successful individuals, both quirky, and they don't let fear get in the way. So they're amazing people to follow, as are you. He wrote a book based on living with a seal, and the seal told him, when you're at 40%, when you feel you've reached the wall, you're only at 40% of your capacity. And the reason being is creative subconscious mind, comfort zone is holding us back because our amygdala, that crazy thing that controls all of our life activities, it doesn't want us to be uncomfortable. So it holds us back to where we are. We could go do far more, but you have identified it's the fear that's holding us back. And the last thing that popped up in just this level of consciousness, and thank you for the gift, is a little book called The Science of Getting Rich. And one of the chapters in there, I bargained with life for a penny when I could ask for more. So one of the things that stops us, is fear. And that's why I'm excited that you're here today to share your message. And I'm excited that I get to maybe influence one or two people with your work. I'm not the guy doing the work. You're the expert. I'm a facilitator of your genius.
Yeah, the comfort zone is really, that's where we get stuck. We like to stay in that status quo. We know what we know, where we think it's life is under control. We're feeling safe. And I like to say about both control and safety, they're illusions. None of us has that. And to the point where, 40%, your back's against the wall, you're only at 40%. Most people don't know what it's like to live at 100%. 100% of who you are, 100% of committing yourself to the life that you are choosing. And let's get something real clear. We do choose these behaviors. We choose the way we think. We choose the ways in which we engage in the world. Now, circumstances will be what they are. I have no doubt. And I've certainly had my fair share of them. And I went through them in the book. But the thing is, how resilient are you to bounce back? How resilient are you to say, that sucked, but I'm going to have to get up and get on with the next part, whatever that next part is. You know what I hear a lot of when I say to people, and as I say, I talk to a lot of CEOs and executives and so forth. What's your greatest fear? And they'll say, the fear of failure. And I go, okay, great. How many times in your life have you failed?
Yeah.
A lot. How many times have you succeeded? A lot. But here's what failure is. It's a choice, a decision, or an expectation that did not go the way you had planned. End of story. So if we take it from that point of view, which is a very pragmatic point of view, then you simply say, what's next? We pivot. Things didn't work out. We pivot. Things didn't work out. We say, okay, let's try again. The minute you fall down and you say, I can't do anything about it, it's all useless. It's worthless. And God knows I've had my moments. I'm not saying I haven't, because I have. I've had a lot of them. But the point I'm saying is that you have to, at some point, go, the hell with this. I'm deeply uncomfortable, and I need to do something about it. And change only happens when you get uncomfortable or comfortable being uncomfortable, because that's where the changes really do happen. And there were many, many times when I thought, I can't go on. Can't keep doing this. But then a little bit of spark comes in and you go, find another way.
Which leads me to a question I've been waiting to ask since this little bit of narrative. And you talked about resiliency. How does one without giving away the whole sauce, secret sauce, a gift for anybody who took the time to watch us today or in the future. What's one idea that you would share with us at developing resiliency?
Don't believe your own bullshit.
How we talked about earlier habits, and if our habit is to believe our own bullshit, how do we help people, or how would you help people?
So again, what is resilience? Resilience is simply about, you've reached the end of the rope. Okay, let's say you've reached the end of the rope, and we've all been there, and we sit there and we think, well, what the hell's going to happen now? How am I going to continue? You've got to look for that little glimmer of hope that steps in and says, if you could only just do this one thing, just one little thing that would make the difference for you to actually move forward. That's resilience in action right there. I did martial arts for years. I have to tell you this story. I did martial arts for years. And my teacher I took some private lessons, and he would stand up against the wall and he'd have his arms crossed and he'd just be leaning there. And he would tell me again. And I had to keep going back and forth with these different exercises. And then you hit the wall. And you hit the wall and you've got a choice. You're either going to go through it, over it, under, around it, but you don't let it stop you. And that's resilience right there. You don't let whatever the circumstances are. That's it. The get-to-itiveness, the stick-to-itiveness, it's all there. And that's resilience in action. And if you look up the work of Tasha Eurich, she wrote a book called Shatterproof, which is actually going beyond resilience. It's looking at the places where we absolutely feel like, yep, we've got up and moved on many, many, many different times. Add all that up. And what does that come to? I'm pretty shatterproof. I'm definitely shatterproof at this point. I don't care what shit hits the fan. I will absolutely get through it because I believe it. And that's the other side of resilience. You got to believe that you can make a difference for yourself.
I haven't shared that quote for a long time, but it was very fitting for what we're talking about. I don't know if you know where he was the first publisher of the magazine Success.
Ah, yeah. I know the magazine.
Yeah, it's been around a long time, but it's gone through. Talk about, and then what's his name? W. Clement Stone also picked it up and published it afterwards, and then another fellow, not Daniel Pink. He wrote. I can't remember his name. Sorry, can't give him a plug because I can't remember.
It's okay. I mean, it's even if we look at the work of Nightingale, it's the same stuff. None of this is new.
No.
None of this is new. I mean, I've coined fear intelligence as a terminology that no one else is using.
However, that's what's new about it. So when you say none of this is new, I compare this to a kaleidoscope. Was something that was taught to me many years ago. But if you change the kaleidoscope, what you see changes. So what I think and what I feel about your book is it's a kaleidoscope. There may be some things in it we've heard before. Yeah, so I heard it. But if unapplied knowledge is a waste of time. What I like about the way that you've put this together in your Jacqueline Wales best self way is the way you've put the book together. There's some practical things to do. There's case studies that support what you're talking about, real people with real issues, real challenges. And then there's a challenge to us to do the damn work at the end of every chapter. So it's not.
I mean, you maybe remember at the beginning of the book, I go, if you're not going to do the work in this book, then don't bother reading anymore. I say that right at the very beginning of the book.
Yeah.
It's a call to action. That's what I'm doing. Yeah.
It's very good. Speaking of very good, I want to share some stuff because one of the things, hey, we could talk for another hour. I'd love to do that, but maybe I'll just to come back another time sooner than not with a smaller gap in between our next visit. What I want to do now though is to push a button which will bring up. Yeah, I'm going to bring up your LinkedIn first. Add to stage. Here we go. And so for people who have bad eyesight like me, who needs glasses, I'm going to make it a lot easier for you. So bear with me as I bring up the URL, how you get to what we're looking at right now, though, is the LinkedIn page for this lovely lady, an author. And because I was looking at other things, there we are right there. So it's easy to find. Now you can read that, because you cannot read that blue spot at the top, even if you got great eyes. So to make it easier, there it is. So why I want to bring this up is if somebody wanted to get hold of you, check you out, see what else you're up to. LinkedIn is a great place to start. It's not the only place we're going to point them to, but there's some things in here that are cool to see. Like, look at this, some events and featured articles and posts, and you get to know her a little bit differently. And then you can connect with her and follow her and see what she's up to. So that's one place, right? Anything you want to say about that before I jump to the other?
Yeah, join my, be a subscriber to my newsletter. I just posted one yesterday about the difference between intentions and transformation. And I think that's very relevant to this time of year when people are starting to think, I'm going to do better next year. Lots of luck on that one if you don't get a clarity on what it is you're looking for.
And then if what you're hearing today, or when you do further research to find out what Jacqueline's all about, here's another place where you can go get some. It's a 6-week program.
So let me talk about that for a second,
Yeah.
Phil, because this is really an important one. I created this 6-week program, and it's all digital. It's you do it yourself. It's self-paced, but it's delivered 5 days a week, and it's 15-minute exercises every day for 5 days a week for 6 weeks. That allows you to really start to analyze your fear patterns, your fear behaviors, and start thinking about how to improve upon it. There's a great deal of self-reflection in here, but I've made it as simple as possible so that people can really dive in and get what they need from this program in the shortest amount of time. What took me decades to learn, I've managed to put into programs that now take weeks and months to make the changes that are important for you in your life. And so this is the program. The woman on the right there is my last client, and she just finished the 6-week program. And you can take a listen to see what she has to say about it. But she's had remarkable breakthroughs in a very short space of time. So if you're looking for transformation, this is a program that could definitely get you going. Thank you for the pitch time, Phil. I appreciate it.
Because people can't read what it says there, I'm going to read the highlights. Her name is Janine Solomon. And then at the bottom says, I can't believe how quickly I was able to release years of old patterns. So find out more. Check this out. You've got the URL right there. Listen to the 2-minute and 51-second video. And if that resonates with you, then enroll in the program. And if it doesn't, that's okay too.
Yep.
But you won't know unless you check it out. Right?
Excellent.
Exactly. Well, the last thing I wanted to share was something that was a bit of a surprise to you, but you gave me permission to share it, so I'm going to bring it up. It's this infographic that I was able to create based on content that I dug up because it was easy to dig up because you have quite a bit of great stuff out there. Like we mentioned in the intro, TED Talks and some YouTube videos are there as well. So go look for Jacqueline Wales to find out more if you were one of those kind of people that need to see more evidence. But look at this thing right here. I actually have a printed copy right here for me personally, so I don't have to look at it on the monitor. The thing I like about it says, fear is a handbrake. Release it and drive your life forward. This is Jacqueline's stuff, not mine. I'm happy to be here, having her here. 85% of employees withhold ideas due to fear. Man, have I ever seen that a lot. When I facilitate a coaching session or an event with somebody, I see that. I didn't know it was 85%. I knew it was a high number. So I default to the 80-20 rule, and I can't go too far wrong there. It's usually in the 80 percentile, so this was. And when I asked them to participate and get activated, they're reluctant to say stuff. It's not that they're dumb people. They're not. Once we get them going, oh my goodness, the things we can learn by their sharing their brilliance makes the life and the product and everything so much better. Napoleon Hill, one of his principles is a mastermind, but a mastermind wouldn't work if people aren't sharing their ideas. So 85%. If you want a copy of this, send me a DM or email and I will get you a copy of this infographic. But the infographic's only a little bit. If you want to get the impact, you need to hang out with my guest, Jacqueline Wales. That's the real spirit of what you need to do. Well, you don't need to do anything, right? That's what you could choose to do.
There you go. You can choose. And if you make that choice and you want to get in touch with me, then feel free. I'd be happy to discuss anything around fear.
I'm going to be greedy.
Change.
Is that okay? I've already asked you for some gifts already, and you've openly shared. I'm going to be greedy one more time. What's one thing that you would encourage our audience, share a nugget that you would share with them today?
The nugget that I would share with you today is understand that fear is data. It is information. That's all it is. It's an emotion that is attached to a story, and that story is driving behavior. And when we look at that story and we look at it as information, you have to ask yourself, is it true? Do I have empirical evidence for it? If you don't, then simply change the story. And that changing of the story takes work. No question about it. You're habituated to a certain way of thinking, a certain way of behaving. But you have to make a commitment to yourself to actually want to change it. And the way you change it is change the language, change the stories. That changes the behavior.
I'm sorry, I just was letting that flow over me. So I appreciate that. I hate part of the show, and that's when it comes to an end. That's where we're at right now. I want to thank you for being a wonderful guest as usual. And we only scraped the surface of what's like in this book. Like you said at the beginning, if you're not going to do the work, don't read the book. It takes effort. It's not a big book, but it's got big potential for those people, I think, to do it. Now, I've only dabbled in it because I've only had it for a few weeks, but I've already seen some things change for me. So again, thank you for being a guest, and hang out in the green room for a bit.
I will. Thank you, Phil. This has been a pleasure, always.
We'll see you later.
Yeah.
Well, if you're not stoked by watching this episode, watch it again, because maybe you missed something. Fear, I think we all face fear. Great reminders that the comfort zone it doesn't have to be the way, no, it's not fantasized experience appearing real. It's Jacqueline's way. We need to face it and rise and don't do the same thing over and over and over again. So with that, I want to do one more thing to remind you all about this. Right there, that you there, look at that. I'm not a very good weatherman. I'd lose my job telling the weather. Anyway, the you there in the gold color is you. You're unique and individual. So continue acting like yourself. If you're stuck in and around things around fear, do something for yourself. Get yourself the gift. Check out her course. 15 minutes a day. I mean, small incremental changes on a consistent basis, whether it's dealing with fear, making more profit, losing weight, gaining strength. Strength doesn't happen by massive effort initially, because we can't do that. One of my mentors, actually where I got this word wonderful from many decades ago, he said change happens for one of two reasons: impact, lots of life, love, etc., or we let fear hold us back. And the way we change is to do small incremental improvements on a consistent basis. Jacqueline's provided us with a wealth of knowledge and a course if you're looking to break through like Janine did. So that's enough rambling on by me about this. Remember, be wonderful and go act like it today. We'll see you on the next episode of The Business Renovator, which will be next year. So see you then. Goodbye.
I get it done, I have fun. It's my time and I'm the one. I'm breaking through.